right, welcome back, and today we're going to be modifying our body weight exercises to now incorporate weight. And then one of the other things we're going to do is we're going to modify our kettlebell exercises that you learned from the Pavel Tsatsouline video. We're gonna modify those by using a method of improv, taking 1 gallon milk bottles and turning them into weights for our exercises. Okay, so generally when you take one of these 1 gallon bottles of milk, and obviously the milk's all gone and you fill them with water, they're going to come out to about 8.5 pounds to 9 pounds of weight in each one. And one of the things you could do is you could use 2 of them to provide extra weight in regard to your exercises. So now if you've progressed from doing just body weight, your body's beginning to feel strong, now you're going to be able to incorporate doing some weight. Okay. Now we're going to go through a number of exercises that are going to be incorporated into your workout. Swings, bent over rows, dips, snatch, goblet squat, swing pulls, split squat, figure eight, so bottoms up, curls, and also curl to press. Okay, and so these are different exercises that we're going to modify using weight now, and being able to enhance your workouts a little bit more instead of doing the same old routine that we've been going over. Okay, so the first one here is swings. Okay, with swings, obviously when we're doing them with the kettlebell, obviously we saw the video where we could do them with 2 hands. It's a little bit, more difficult to do them with 2 hands using the milk carton or the milk bottle here. So you have a couple of options. Okay, one is doing the single hand swing. Okay, which also Pavel went over as well, and doing that. For a lot of you, this is going to be really lightweight, and it's not going to do much for you. So another option is actually loading these up with sand. Okay, and loading these up with sand is pretty much going to double your weight, or you have the option of taking 2 of these and doing them at the same time. Okay, popping the hips, exploding up, popping the hips, popping the hips, popping your hips. Okay, now obviously they're going to take up a little bit more space than kettlebells, so you might have to modify your stance, widen your stance just slightly more than normal than you would on doing normal kettlebell swings. If you load them up, like I said, with sand, it's going to give you more resistance. It's going to create more weight in there. So that'll be a benefit in regard to doing that. Okay, our next exercise, which will be bent over rows. Okay, and for a lot of you, you're probably going to want to load these up with sand. Okay, to create more resistance. Or unless, if you do have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you could do your bent over rows with the dumbbell or the kettlebell. Okay, so essentially, if you could find a bench, okay, you want to get all the way down, reach as far down as you can, and we want to pull up. We want to roll our shoulder. Elbow goes up, roll our shoulder. Okay, we want our back to be parallel with the ground. Okay, another way of doing this, okay, is you could do it without the bench. Use your legs, your glutes to support your back. Get your back as parallel to the ground as possible, pulling it up. Okay, elbows going higher than your back. Okay, slightly rolling your shoulder. Okay, that's how we're going to be doing our bent over rows. Our next exercise that we're going to jump into is going to be dips. Okay, so now we're going to add some weight to our dips. So essentially when we're doing our chair dips, we're going to put the weight in our lap, okay, slide down slightly, trying to balance the weight, okay, and we're going to get down into our dips, okay. So this is going to provide for us a little extra weight, okay. Like I mentioned, this is going to be anywhere between 8 to 9 pounds with a gallon of water, and like I said, if you add sand in here as opposed to water, it's going to give you more weight. Create more resistance for you in regard to doing those dips. Okay. One of the things, though, in regard to doing this, is you need to be careful with the bottle falling off of your lap when you're getting down into position, and then coming out of position as well too. Obviously, if you have a plate at home, 5-pound plate, 10-pound plate, that'll obviously work better. Heavy books, if you have a partner that can help you in putting the weight on your lap, that's even much better to deal with as well too. Okay. Now another exercise that we're going to look at in regard to modifying is the snatch. Okay. So obviously this is normally a kettlebell exercise that we use. Obviously without using the kettlebell, using the gallon of water. Okay. We're going to go into our ready position and we're going to fire the water up. Okay, or the water bottle up. Okay. Now, ideally, okay, we want a little bit more resistance. And one of the things in regard to this will help you with some resistance. Sand will help you a little bit more in regard to the resistance. Dumbbells will work as well too in regard to doing the snatch. But ideally, we prefer obviously using a kettlebell because we'd be able to fire it up and get underneath it with the water. If you have a big hand, it's tougher to get inside the grip and hold it up, okay? Now, one of the big things, too, is going through the transition, okay? So we get it done on one side, okay, with one arm. We bring it down. We could go with a short little swing here, try and switch hands. Or if you need to, if you're having a hard time transitioning, you could just stop, put the gallon of water down, switch hands, and do your snatch. Okay, and so that'll take us into being able to do our snatches. Okay, after our snatch, goblet squat. Okay, ideally with the goblet squat, it works best with the kettlebell because you have both sides of the handles that you can grip onto. Okay, and so generally with those, if we're doing a goblet squat, and this one's only 15 pounds, we'll grip the handles on the side, keep the kettlebell up at our face, get all the way down into our squat, and pop our hips up. Down into our squat, pop our hips up. Now, without having a kettlebell, okay, we're going to use our gallon of water. We're going to hold it up in front of our face, okay, and we're going to get all the way down into our squat, okay, all the way down into our squat, pop our hips when we are coming up. Okay, those will be our goblet squats. And if you even need more resistance, you could generally do a regular squat, okay, holding both of these, holding 2 bottles, and then taking yourself and getting down all the way into the squat. Okay, it's going to be a little bit tougher holding them at your face level, and then getting down into the squat and maintaining that for whatever X amount of reps that we're doing. Okay. In regard to that. After these goblet squats, okay, we're going to do what's called the swing pull, okay. Now in the Pavel video, Pavel talked about doing the swing pull and the importance of it, okay. And so we use these swing pulls also to help develop our shoulder strength and also, you know, obviously work on our hip explosion as well too. So we go into almost a swing and almost an upright row, okay? So generally, traditional old school weightlifting, you do an upright row, you're pulling your elbow up, pulling the weight up. Normally it's with a bar, so it's 2 arms pulling the weight up on a barbell with the weights at the end. Now we're doing it with the weight, okay, as part of a kettlebell exercise, doing the swing into a pull, okay? Now you probably want to do this with sand to add that extra weight because the 8 to 9 pounds of just water just really isn't heavy enough for the most part. And for most of you, you're going to need the extra weight. If you're one of the females that's in the class, this may be a good option for you, sticking with the 8 to 9 pounds in regard to dealing with the resistance. And obviously that depends on what your overall strength is and your experience in doing the exercises and making a decision on what's best for you in regard to that, okay? So those are the swing pulls. Now split squat, okay? So we've done split squat and we've also done split jumps. Okay, so split squat without the jump mixed in, split jumps obviously with the jump being a plyometric exercise and doing that. We're going to change the split squat from just being without weight. Now we're going to do it with weight. Okay, so you have a couple of options with this. Okay, one, we're going to get all the way down into the squat. Okay, do not let our knee touch the ground. All the way down into our squat. Don't let our knee touch the ground. Okay, try to pop the hips up when you're coming up. Okay, develop that explosion. Now you can do them with the 2 bottles of water or 2 kettlebells, or you could do it with 1 kettlebell, just like a goblet squat. Okay, except we're doing it in a split squat stance. Or you could use 1 jug of water as well too. Okay, so in the split squat stance, holding the jug of water in front of us and getting down into the split squat. Okay, do whatever X amount of number on each side, switch legs, get down into the split squat. Now, one of the things about, when we're doing goblet squats and doing these split squats, if we're holding the water jug or the kettlebell up in front of our face, right, and holding that position, keeping our elbows tucked, one of the things that it does is it helps us to fire our core a little bit more, because now we're having to hold it up. We're having to maintain our posture, which is a big thing. Keeping our shoulders up. Basically, like if we had a pole running straight down through our head, through our body, through our hips, into the ground, and we're just going straight up, straight down. We're being forced to fire our core to maintain that position, maintain that posture. Okay, so it becomes a little bit more than just actually getting into those squat and working our legs. We're firing the muscles in our legs as well as in our abdomen, our obliques, a little bit in our upper body as well too. Okay. Now, figure 8s to bottoms up. Okay. So essentially, we're going to incorporate a couple of things here. One is balance and coordination. Okay, and then coupling that with doing a curl exercise, still popping our hips. And so the figure 8 exercise to bottoms up looks like this. Okay, we're going to loosen up, almost going into a swing, except we're going to exchange the water bottle between our legs, and we're going to take it up. Okay, so we're going to take it up through our body, bottoms up. Okay, and it's kind of tough doing it with the water jug, because it doesn't offer enough weight in regard to doing this. Normally, at least for myself, I normally use a 35-pound kettlebell. But just to give you an example, doing the figure 8s with the bottoms up with a 15-pound kettlebell, which is a little bit more weight. So we're running the weight between our legs, exchanging it in the back, and then we're flipping it up, doing a curl. And this is why it's called bottoms up, because the bottom of the kettlebell is going to go up in the air. Okay. Now, one of the tough things is doing it with the water jugs. The exchange, you don't have as much space like in the handle of a kettlebell, so it's a little bit tougher to exchange. So you may have to go about it a lot slower than normal. Running this through your legs, bottoms up. Running it through your legs, bottoms up. You may even, well, one, because this is real lightweight, you may have to use 2 fingers in your grip in order to do this. But essentially, when we're doing this, we're working our coordination, we're working our balance, and then we're also working our biceps in regard to doing the bottoms up, basically like a curl. Now, when we're doing the bottoms up as well too, though, you need to keep in mind that you're firing your hips to help swing that weight up. Okay, and you need that even more when you go up farther in weight. Okay. Now, the last 2 exercises that we're going to look at is curls, curl to press. Okay. So essentially, if this is heavy enough for you, we can do curls. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now that's including a little bit of a rotation here. We could do them without the rotation, going straight up as far as the curls go. when you do them without the rotation, you incorporate using a little bit more of your forearms up here, okay? And